Hi, my name is Chris Novak. All right, so NASA has helped humanity solve some of the greatest problems known to man. In this speech, I will talk about the history of NASA, the effect of such an organization, and where we would be without them. The history of NASA started out on October 1st, 1958, and it was pressed and it was encouraged to start based on the National Defense System and the threats that we were receiving back in the time. It came from the Cold War and all the threats we were, receiving from Russia and the opposing countries. We were basically pressed to start a national defense system, and President Dwight D. Eisenhower was the one back then, and he forced the issue for it to be pressed, which gave the American people more of a realization of just how serious we needed this organization. The era back then was called the geophysical year, which was from July 1st, 1957 to December 31st of 1958. That was the time basically that America wanted to get serious with space exploration and the national defense of the country. On October 4th, 1957, Sputnik, which was the Russians' first artificial satellite, it was the first artificial satellite launched into space. It was during the space race that Russia and America were running head to head, and unfortunately, Russia beat America. America came back 3 or 4 months later on January 31st, 1958, and they created their first artificial satellite, which was Explorer 1. And it was a very serious and important first recording of what it documented. Once Explorer 1 was launched into the orbit, it picked up the radiation zones that were encircling our Earth, and it basically showed how we were protected from the ultraviolet radiation of the sun. So it was a very, very important finding. And yeah, it was named the Van Allen radiation belt because the physicist Van Allen in 1958 was the one that founded it. The unity of countries through integrated projects, two major projects that America and Russia basically unified with, and they came together and created, was the ASTP and the ISS. The ISS is the International Space Station, which is still used to this day from the astronauts. The ASTP is the Apollo-Soyuz test project. So basically, in 1975, America and Russia came together with their differences, and they created the ASTP. It was a project where they practiced rendezvous and docking procedures in space. The quote was from Salvador, NASA, New York, Franklin Watts, 2003 print. So from NASA, NASA started out to where it has come. These are just some of their contributions to society. Human spaceflight initiations, robotics missions, aeronautics research, remote sensing, application satellites, an orbital workshop, a reusable spacecraft, and the Hubble Space Telescope, which is still used to this day. Okay, NASA is forgotten about. It's a very, very important organization and group of men and women that help contribute to our country. And it's the average Joe forgets about it because it's not something that we see or use every day. But appreciation is needed for the organization because they help us with many things. We're protecting our country and everything else. And let's not forget the people that died, that lost their lives, during the time of working for NASA. On January 28th, 1986, the Challenger orbiter blew up, killing all 7 on board. And in 2003, the Columbia orbiter, which disintegrated only 15 minutes from landing, killing all 7 on board also. And the quote from that was NASA Science, Web 09, 2014. Okay, so let's see here. the things that we would never have if not for NASA. We would never have the Van Allen radiation belt, satellites, less information about our own Earth, and living on Mars. So let's not forget the appreciation and just what the organization NASA has done for us. Thank you.